Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a review of the medication called Lamictal. I believe the pharmacy name is Lamotrigine, but I'll have to check again. Yeah, it's called Lamictal. For people who don't know about it, it's basically a mood stabilizer. It's used to treat primarily bipolar disorder, but I think it's for people with bipolar disorder that's more like depression based. Like with bipolar disorder, you have episodes of both depression and mania, and then sort of an in between period for people who know about bipolar disorder. And there's some people with bipolar who are more like their bipolar is more mania oriented, like they have more manic episodes. And then there's medications they take for that. Primarily, I think it's lithium. You got a few others that are primarily for um, bipolar that's manic based, and then you got depressive based or depression based bipolar disorder, which I would say more people take Lamictal and some other medications for. Regardless, I want to say this is a medication that changed my life. So growing up, I had all kinds of mental health issues. Like I came from a very rough background. Like there was a lot of fighting at home. My mom passed away at a young age. I didn't have really good social skills growing up, so I didn't have friends, or at least not a lot of friends. I'd get bullied a lot, so um, it goes without saying, growing up, I was pretty miserable. And it kind of carried over in high school and eventually college. I got on SSRIs. For people who don't know what that is, it's selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So basically, in layman's terms, the idea is you want to try to raise your serotonin levels, which are associated more with like happiness, like feeling good. So for people with, depression, of whether it's major depression or more moderate depression, or they're coping with some kind of trauma in their life, SSRIs can really help. But it's very important to determine whether you just have major depressive disorder or some kind of other mental health issue, or if you have a mood disorder, which technically in the case of borderline, it's actually a personality disorder, which is a little bit different. But personally, I would still classify it as like a mood disorder, not officially according to DSM, but like in reality, it basically is a mood disorder. You have insane levels of mood instability, more so than bipolar actually. It's like all day, every day, you're up, down, hot and cold, feeling horrible one moment, feeling like nobody loves you the next moment. You're super excited that you're building a friendship or you're building a relationship with somebody who you think loves you and won't leave you, whatever it may be. If you want to learn more about borderline personality disorder specifically, you should do some research on it. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to do a separate video on that. But regardless, especially for bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder, I would say that SSRIs really don't work that well. Maybe they'll give you a little bit of a boost, but I would say mood stabilizers, particularly Lamictal, that's what you want to take, because I wouldn't say it's going to cure you. It's a magic pill. But for people who are really, really suffering, who aren't able to function every single day, who literally feel like life is unbearable, they can't focus on work, they can't focus on school, they can't accomplish any tasks, they don't have motivation, they just constantly feel like shit sometimes. You can't even get out of bed. For people like that, I really recommend trying Lamictal, at least asking your doctor and see if they'll let you give it a chance. Make sure that you're getting diagnosed properly. And yeah, if it is a mood issue, definitely try it, because I would say that it will get you to a point where you no longer feel like you're drowning. You can finally get your head above water, and from that point, you can swim to the shore. In this metaphor, swimming, when you get to the shore, that's being in like a stable point in your life or being happy. Not doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you're happy all the time, but you know what I mean, like relatively content, relatively satisfied with your life, more or less like the average default state of a young person who has most things going well for them in their life. That's where you want to be going for the shore. But yeah, even though it's not a magic pill, I would say it will get you to a point where good lifestyle habits like, eating well, sleeping well, practicing gratitude, meditation, which a lot of people would say, oh, just do this and you'll feel happier. Well, if you're miserable enough and you have one of these mood issues, then it's not going to be enough to just do those things. And you won't even be able to do those things because you'll feel like shit. Like even going to the gym, you won't be able to work out. Like you'll have no motivation. You won't be able to work hard. And even if you do work out, it won't make you actually feel happier. Like, it'll release some endorphins, but if you're that miserable, like it's not going to be enough to help you. So basically, by getting your head above water, all those really healthy lifestyle habits, Lamictal will allow you to get your head above water, and I think that will make the difference. Now, in terms of side effects, I would say that you should also look into what some other people have to say in terms of side effects, because one of the major side effects I think could also be attributed to concussions, because basically I've gotten a few concussions in the last couple of years, and the first one I had, I believe, coincided with me starting to take Lamictal. But I also have actually seen online quite a few people saying they have some of these symptoms. So it's very hard to say whether it's the concussions or the Lamictal. Maybe it's both, kind of like a compounded effect. They've added up together that you get memory issues. Sometimes it doesn't manifest in literally like you're forgetting things just like on an everyday basis, like you're losing stuff, you're forgetting names, which are issues I've had to some extent, by the way. Definitely I've had some more brain fog than I used to in the past, which some people have said Lamictal causes brain fog, some people haven't. I would say the main issue I have that really stands out, which also could be attributed to both, but I have seen some people say it's caused by Lamictal, is what's called aphasia, which is basically you have communication issues. Now, it can manifest in a number of ways. Like, there's different kinds of aphasia. There could be when you don't understand people properly, like when they speak completely normally and you're having trouble comprehending them the way you normally would. Sometimes it's you're not able to communicate your thoughts properly. And in my case, it's basically that I'm able to communicate my thoughts properly for the most part, but the main obstacle is that I'll have a word that I'm trying to say, but it's not coming to me. Like, when you have like the word at the tip of your tongue, but it's not coming to you in a sentence. Sometimes even when you're writing and you're like, oh, this sucks. What is the word I'm trying to say? But for me, like, that happens all the time. So that really sucks. And it took me a while to like stop stressing about it and to just, if it ever popped up, which it happened just a little bit now, just try to, take a deep breath, try to think of an alternative way to say what I'm saying, try not to overthink it, and just move on. So that's one thing to be mindful of. If you start to have that symptom, probably tell your doctor, and then you want to weigh the benefits versus the risks. For me, with how much Lamictal has changed my life, from a point where my life was literally unbearable, I couldn't do anything. Like, I was just constantly losing my mind, constant up downs. I couldn't maintain friendships because I was so like emotional. I had no self-control, no self-awareness. It was just horrible. I would get into episodes where I was suicidal all the time. So for me, even with these memory issues, if they are caused by Lamictal, even these communication issues, like, it's a price I'm willing to pay. So that's what I would say about Lamictal. There's a very rare reaction that like something like 0.1%, like a very, very low percentage of people get, which is like a skin rash that causes, a fever and all kinds of different symptoms. And that apparently is potentially deadly. So if you have anything like that, once you start Lamictal, you got to call your doctor right away or go to the hospital or whatever, because you're in big trouble if you have that. The good news is it's almost impossible to get it, especially if you titrate your dose up slowly. Like, you build up your dose slowly over time, taper on, taper off. So you start very slow, you start at a very small dose, and then you progressively work your way up to the dose that you think will be effective in helping to alleviate your symptoms. So yeah, I would say those are my 2 cents, but Lamictal is really like a miracle drug for me. Like I said, it's not a cure-all, it's not the magic pill, but it will get you from feeling like you're drowning to getting your head above water, so you can push yourself to make active lifestyle changes and allow yourself to swim. Obviously, you want to go to the gym, you want to make new friends, you want to get a good amount of sleep, you want to keep yourself productive and stimulate your brain. You want to build a community. Maybe even if you're not religious, you want to find your purpose in life, you want to do stuff you love to do. There's many different things. Cardio is very important in terms of staying in shape and making sure your hormone levels are at normal levels, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, those are my 2 cents on Lamictal. I would highly recommend it, to at least highly recommend reading into it if you have issues that revolve around mood instability, primarily BPD, borderline personality disorder, or bipolar disorder. All right.